Hey, everybody. It's me, Jake, from Jake and Off. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. This week, I am joined by Curtis Braxdale, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Let Curtis hear it. Happy to have him on the show. You can check him out on Instagram at Curtis Braxdale, Braxdale, Instagram and YouTube. And check out his podcast, Riff City. He got a little pod of his own. The boy's got his own pod. As always, you can find us on Instagram at jakeand.off.podcast, on YouTube as well, and you can send anything at all to jakeand.off.podcast@gmail.com. I'll look at it at least once. I'll check it out at least one time. That's the policy around here. So without further ado, also, check out Riffs After Dark on January 27th at the Barrel of the Bottoms. It's Curtis's show. I will be performing there. It's got a great lineup. It's going to be a good time. I'll put the link to the description, or the link to the tickets, rather, in the description of this podcast. So, without further ado, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you. I love you so much. Thank you. And enjoy the episode. Have a nice listening to the episode. Hot dog suit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just so funny.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of like ties into something. This dude, I read this article. So this guy is a comedian in like a Philadelphia NPR station.
Yeah.
He works at NPR and he's also a comedian. He's not a comedian there. He's just a reporter.
Uh-huh.
But I guess they like axed him for like some of his jokes. And I went online and I watched his jokes, and like honestly, like I didn't think it was even like worth playing. Like none of them were that big of a deal. Like
Yeah.
there was like one joke about how he doesn't like septum piercings on women or whatever, but it's like this whole thing.
He stole that from. I've been doing that for a month.
Yeah, he must have been in Kansas City at some point.
He went to the Rhino.
But dude, so this guy gets let go, and basically like he kind of like, you know, I guess they send it to like arbitration. He like appeals it somehow. And anyways, this arbiter who had to watch his jokes and decide if they were like inappropriate, like too inappropriate, was like, oh, they're actually kind of funny. And so he got his job back.
That's so sick.
It's a dub for comedy, dude.
Comedy is subjective, dude. That's what it is.
But it was just, I thought it was like so strange. It's like, dang, dude, this guy got.
That is so funny. He had to like submit a 5-minute tape to get his job back. Like they're like,
Yeah.
can you send us a type 5 because we got to see if this is.
Yeah, they were like, your reels are too inflammatory.
Yeah. Also, was he
TikTok.
getting like decent views or no?
I'm sure that he is now. I bet that he gets like way better views now. I don't know what it was before. I didn't really look at the numbers
Yeah.
now either. But his whole thing was he was like, it's bullshit. You know, because he was like a musician, and then he got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Gotcha. Oh,
and so
yeah.
he was going to lose like his motor function, and so he started pursuing comedy as like an artistic outlet.
Gotcha.
Because, you know, if he needs to sit down, there's a stool. If he can't hold the microphone, he can put it in the stand.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
You can
So
also
it's like
talk through an iPad if you
Yeah.
listen to your voice. Dude,
hello everyone.
I've been trying to write a joke about this. Okay, this is gonna be a semi fucked up story.
Okay.
Okay, so
Is this real?
yes, it's 100% real. So
Okay.
I work at a shoe store. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna name which one, but
Yeah.
a lot of people come in that
A lot of white guys wearing this shoe brand.
but also we make very supportive shoes for a lot of people that have either MS or like
Yeah.
disabilities or something.
Yeah.
So this
big fat patriots.
Yeah. Well, no, this woman was not a big fat patriot. She had some mental thing. She was nonverbal, and she walked with a walker, but she was like 18 or something.
Yeah, that's
18, but walked with a walker,
sucks.
and she had an iPad, and she would communicate
Okay.
through the iPad, right? And she was with her mom. Her mom was like her chaperone, caretaker, yada
I'm
yada.
just so scared for where this is
No. It's not.
All
I'm
right,
comfortable.
all right,
I'm
all
comfortable
right.
telling it.
Okay.
I'm comfortable telling it,
Perfect.
but it was
you're
pretty
right.
funny.
You're right. I trust you.
So she was nonverbal, right? And so
Did she give you like a lot of looks though?
Okay, so
like winking at you.
see, the problem is I know how to tell this story in a way that won't get me in trouble, and the more that you ask me and make me want to riff, I know it's gonna etch into a territory.
Resist, Curtis. You must resist.
Okay, this is not funny. This is not funny at all. So, she would communicate. She had an iPad that she could type into, and it would read out words. But she could communicate with her mom through like little grunts.
Yeah,
so she would be like,
that makes sense actually.
And like, and her mom would be like, okay, she kind of decipher.
Understand.
Yeah, so I would kind of communicate through the mom back to her. Sometimes she would type in the iPad. Okay, so I don't know why when you see somebody that's nonverbal and like clearly like very disabled, I don't know why my head kind of just thinks that they're dumb.
Yeah.
So I was
that's like ableism.
Yeah. So I didn't know at the time. I put on the shoe on her foot, and I was kind of asking, I'm like, how does it feel, whatever. And then she started typing into the iPad, and I don't know why when she hit play on the iPad, I was expecting it to say like, doesn't fit good. But she hit play, and it was like, she's sitting there like not moving, kind of going like this, and then she hits play on the iPad, and it's like, I like the way this one feels, like the color on this one. It fits good in the back here, and it's like super articulate. Yeah. And I just sat there, I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. Dude. I've been talking to you like you don't speak English for the past minute and a half. You just can't talk. Yeah. She's smart. She just can't speak.
Dude, okay.
And I've been trying to write a joke about how I'm like I just like assume they're all dumb. They're not dumb. They just can't speak. So they're sitting there like fully coherent and listening to me like, is this okay?
Yeah.
Is this like?
Yeah, it's probably really annoying.
Yeah. And I in the moment I was just like, oh, I'm an asshole. I did not know that at all.
Dude, so online recently, a big sort of some people, it's like a combination of people believing it ironically to like make fun of people who believe it, and people actually believing that Helen Keller couldn't actually have like conceived of a novel or something like that.
Yes.
And it's like, it's really interesting because like obviously Helen Keller, not the only deafblind lady to ever learn to read or like communicate with people, but also to like believe that, you would have to believe that like she doesn't possess like the innate like humanness to like want to like understand the world around her and stuff.
There are definitely like what you want, like whatever you want to call evolutionary biology, like primal instincts that go beyond like seeing or hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, those things are still active in the brain. The brain doesn't fucking not work.
I think that people like oftentimes like forget it, and like that's like really like that's like the most harmful version of ableism, I think, in a lot of ways, is like you know, people like basically assuming that somebody who has a disability needs everything done for them.
Yes, yeah.
It's like one of the most, it not only does it hurt the like disabled person, but it's like just unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
You know? I don't know.
It's actually crazy how like mainstream the Helen Keller thing has gone.
Yes.
Because like there are memes that permeate society, yada, but like especially from the perspective of like a guy who tries to communicate with like either girls on dating apps or girls my age. That is like the Helen Keller isn't real thing. It is like so common to people who are like, it's like one of the
in
most
their dating profiles.
It's like as unanimous as Taylor Swift. It's like crazy.
That's wild, actually. I didn't realize it had gotten that big.
Dude, I'm telling you, like literally, I would say 60% of the profiles have something about Helen Keller not being real. I'm like, are you guys all on the same algorithm or something? Like, it's crazy how like, and I get it. And it's like,
I think that a lot of people, it's like ironic.
Well, it's ironic. It's like funny, but as like as a comedian, I see people trying to be like meme funny, and I'm like, this is not
this hack.
Yeah,
it's hack.
I see this kind of. Or also, it's like girl brain.
Yeah. all women are hacks, but not all hacks are women.
But also, I mean, it's the same thing as like the birds aren't real shit. It's
no,
like it's the same. It's the same vein.
Dude, that shit drives me crazy.
But that's the thing. I
hate the birds aren't real.
I'm more of a highbrow guy.
Yeah, sorry. I like a little thought behind my jokes.
Yeah.
Something about cum, maybe.
Yeah. Something about cum. Maybe don't quote a Vine. How about that?
Dude, but yeah.
But it's crazy how popular that was.
The other sad thing about it is like, you know, instead of like, it just sucks because like, even if you're just ironically being like, like Helen Keller, like, was stupid, actually, it's like, no, you're actually missing out on like a beautiful story of like a lady overcoming a lot to like do like honestly incredible stuff. And it's like, you know, I guess, but it is cool to put in your dating profile. You guys suck. You guys suck, and you piss me off.
Well, I think it's an easy thing to say with basically no repercussions, that basically like communicate to other people that I'm
Right.
willing to meme. I'm willing to have fun and be funny.
I'm like the only one pushing back on it.
But I'm also like, my thing is like, if your idea of being funny is just copy and pasting the most popular thing to say,
exactly.
that does not sound fun.
We
to me.
probably aren't going to get along anyways.
I'm more like
dating
mildly
life, dude?
racist or whatever.
How's your dating life?
Not
What's
great.
going on?
I mean, it doesn't.
You just
It's never
you're
really,
just focused on other stuff, dude.
It's never.
You just seem like you.
It's never been a priority of mine. Ever.
Yeah.
Like I hate like I had like.
You're young though, dude. You shouldn't prioritize.
I strayed very close to Volcel.
Really?
In college, not knowingly, but when I look back, I'm like, I literally had like 4 years of like almost pure solitude.
Interesting.
But that's just how I was a hermit. College.
Well, because you went to college for video games, right?
Yeah. Well,
you got to explain to me.
Not initially. Do you want me to tell you my story? I can give you the full.
Dude, give me the
odyssey.
rundown. Normally, this isn't an autobiographical story, but I'm so interested in the video game stuff because it fucking. Everybody when I was a kid was like, "You can't play video games. You'll never make it anywhere. You'll be a piece of shit or whatever for your whole life."
Yes. Okay. So I will say before I start explaining my esports journey,
you are a giant piece of shit.
Not only am I not only am I a giant piece of shit. So I complete everything that I did is. This is not like a blueprint for like if you want to go to school for esports, do what I did. I completely lucked into I basically got an esports scholarship through nepotism essentially.
Whoa.
And like my path is not the way to do it. I got very lucky.
Was your dad
No.
like a video game designer?
No. Like I said, I'll get to it, but like I got very lucky and it was like the circumstances that got me a scholarship are going to exist less and less as the future goes on. So
yeah, okay.
For backstory, I played a game called League of Legends, which is a legacy game. It's as of right now, the game's not that popular because newer games have come out.
But it's been
Fortnite, Valorant.
around,
yes,
dude.
it's like World of
For
Warcraft.
a long time.
It's like World of Warcraft. It changed. It's an incredibly popular game. I mean, in terms of like number of players, it's still like number one, number two. But most people that play the game, this is key. Most people that play the game are like 25 to 35.
Right.
So they're not of college age.
Yeah. Okay.
So what happened was, I went to college and I've been playing this game. Now I go to KU.
Rock Chalk.
So KU has a team that plays League of Legends.
Yeah.
They have people that are legit fucking like prodigies at the game because it's a big enough school. They have a lot of foreign students, a lot of Chinese students. Chinese and Korean students are really, really good at League of Legends. I was not good enough to make that team. So I did not. I went to school for computer science. I went to KU. I did not make that team. Also, I didn't have the grades.
You tried out though?
No, I didn't even. They're so much better than me. I didn't even think to try out. It's that level.
You're just like, dude.
I'm telling you.
I'm imagining you like watching from like, for some reason it's in like a stadium and you're like watching from the sidelines. You're like, God, I'll never be as good as these guys.
I'll never be out there. So for instance, I'll tell you right now, my rank right now in the game, I'm top 10% in the world. These people are top 1%.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just different.
Get you, yeah.
I'm very good. I'm just not God at the game.
You're just realistic about your downs.
Yes, and also, so in my strength of playing the game, the one thing that's weird about League of Legends as opposed to other games, it's been out for over 12 years now. And I have been playing it for at least, right now, at least 12 years.
Since you were a kid.
Yes. I've been playing it basically this whole lifetime. So I have knowledge of the game for much longer than everybody else.
Dude, and it's also when you learn something when you're a fucking kid, you like, it becomes...
You never lose it.
Yeah, you just like don't forget it.
I mean, like, for instance, there's like, I think 160 characters in the game, all with like at least 5 abilities. I know everything about every...
Yeah, dude.
And it's like, I can regurgitate it, and then I get bog people down. Anyway, so I go to KU, right? I go to KU. My best friend from high school goes to Baker, which is a smaller private university. I mean, I think... KU has 40,000 students. Baker has 6,000.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes away. He goes to the smaller school, and he starts the League of Legends team at Baker. They have other esports.
He starts it?
Yeah, so they have other esports titles. They have like Rainbow Six, Rocket League, Fortnite.
At Baker?
Yes, at Baker. They have other teams. And so KU has multiple teams too. They have Overwatch, all these other. So they have all these slates of games, right? Baker had all these other games. My friend played League of Legends. He wanted to start the team there, and they said, okay, we're... Esports is a new initiative for us because esports is just starting. This is like the first 3 years of college is really taking this seriously.
So they were like, call your friends?
No. Just wait. So they have all this money. They have all this money to invest because like this is a new venture. Esports is the future. We're going to put all this money in these titles, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's easy to recruit for Fortnite and Rocket League because these are new games. There's kids playing them.
Yeah.
You recruit, you send out a message like, hey, are there any high schoolers that are playing League of Legends? Do you guys want to try out for a scholarship? And then they're like finding like none. Like they don't exist. Because no kids play this game. It's for older. It's an older game. It's like older people play this game.
And how many people do you need for a team?
5. You need five on a team.
Okay.
And we got to a point where we had 10. We had 2 teams, but
yeah,
it took a while. So I was at KU. Baker, they found they found people to make a team, but it wasn't people that went to school for the game. It was people that are already at the school that happened to play the game, and they all sucked. So I was in the top 10%. Everybody that was on my team was in the bottom 10%. So they're all like garbage. I mean, literally like playing with polio. They don't know how to move their character, right? So I'm at KU at the time. I cannot play for this team because I don't go there. It's illegal. My friend texts me and he goes, "Hey, we suck. You're really good. Can you coach us at the game?" and it's my best friend, and I want to spend time with him. I want him to succeed. So I'm like, "Sure, I'll coach the team." So pro bono, like in my free time. I'm not getting paid by the university. I'm going to KU. I'm coaching Baker's League of Legends team. Okay, so I'm coaching these 5 kids. One of them being my best friend.
Do you guys ever play KU?
No, there were. So how it works in esports, because
like divisions.
So how it is, all the league works. All of these teams, they join a league, and this league has like 250 teams or whatever. Yeah. And you play placement matches to kind of determine your skill level. And then they group you with like 15 teams that have a similar skill level to you. So we were in like the 3rd to lowest division. KU was in the top division.
Yeah.
So and in total there's 10 divisions. So we're playing a ton of people that also suck. Yeah. KU's playing a ton of teams that are also really good. Yeah. And it's the weird thing about esports, the size of the school doesn't really correlate because all you need is 5 people that are god at the game. Yeah. So you could like KU's playing like University of New Mexico asshole state, but they're also really good at the game. Like it's not like you have to be playing like University of Texas or whatever, right? So we'd be playing colleges from Canada, we'd be playing colleges from like California, we played wherever, but it was just people that were also shit at the game. So I was coaching Baker's team while I went to KU. Baker's team is dog shit.
And how old are you at this point?
19, 20. And my friend's 18. My friend's a year younger than me. So it's my sophomore year of college, his freshman year. And he's like, "Hey, please coach it. Like, just help us out. Like, tell us what to do. Like, spectate our games. Like be in the voice call to tell." So I'm trying to help them, but they're helpless. Like, they can't do anything.
Suck. They're not good.
Well, they suck, but also it's like I can understand the game in a way that even I can explain ideas to them that they haven't even begun to like consider. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's so. You know what I mean? It's
so
like
funny though to like.
Well, because games get in depth.
Yeah, dude, and like these people are just like, you know, they've been playing it for fun. So
we'll get into that. That's also another thing. So I have a natural drive, and I grew up playing traditional sports. I grew up playing football, baseball, and I also played video games. So it's very natural for me to take video games seriously and be competitive.
Yeah,
The problem with coaching college students that play League of Legends that are nerds their whole life, they don't come from a sports background. So for this League of Legends is their time to relax and play with their friends. And then you're telling them, "Hey, I know that thing that you really like doing. Take it very seriously and try your hardest." And they're like, "What the fuck? Like, this is what I dick around." You know what I mean? So I was trying to coach people that had no traditional sports background. So I'm trying to tell them like constructive criticism, and they just crumbled. They're like, "You're being mean to me," and I'm like, "This is practice. You have to like do the things I tell." Like, So it was very hard to deal with like the traditional like gamer nerd that didn't know coaching, that didn't know a team environment. They're very antisocial. It's hard. It was hard to deal with.
But I tried. You have a foot in both worlds.
Well, I tried. I tried to be a liaison because it was like I knew where they were coming from, but I also
the Avatar dude.
I tried, but I also played sports, so I was like I knew what they. I knew who they were. It was just I was trying to work with them to get them to take it more seriously because like we were competing for money. Isn't like you know like we would win scholarship money or whatever, or we get to go to tournaments if we got good enough. We played online, so we just stayed at their school and played online. But if you make it to the playoffs, you get to go in person. And
you get to like go to something and
it's and you want to win. It's not fun to play a game and get your ass kicked.
No,
for
of course
30
not,
because the games are 30 minutes. You have to play best of 3, so you're playing basically an hour of getting your dick rammed.
Yeah, dude.
So anyway, I coached the team. I coached them for about a year and a half, and I'm helping them improve, but it's not like
it's not working.
I'm doing as much as I'm doing as much as I can do with like basically coaching 5-year-olds how to play soccer. Like they're not going to be messy, but they'll be better than they were. But so and then people are going to leave the team, and then the team was going to have to disband. And my friend talked to the athletic director at the school and was like, "Hey, this guy's been coaching us. Can he transfer here and play on the team?" And then they would give me a scholarship to one coach. It would be a player coach. I would play on the team, but also coach the team at the same time. Because I wasn't being paid up to this point. I was coaching them for a year and a half just on my free time, just to help my friend out. Because I just wanted to help my friend and help his team out. So I transfer. So then and this is perfect. My parents knew this at the time. I was about to flunk out of KU. So I was a terrible student. Like, I mean, one of the worst students. KU.
Dude, you're fucking coaching a League of Legends team. I mean,
dude,
you got
it's
a lot
hard
on your
work.
plate. They don't understand.
9 to 5 league.
That'd be like if Bill Self was going to KU.
Yeah. I mean, I was literally one of the worst students that ever has been to KU. I went there for 4 years and got like 2 years into a degree. I was historically one of the worst students ever. And I was about to flunk out of KU.
Yeah.
And then literally like the semester that I was about to flunk out, Baker was like, "Hey, you can transfer here and we'll give you a full, not a full ride scholarship." They gave me, I'll just be transparent, $25,000 a year to go there. And I went from being about to flunk out of private or public school to being like, and they didn't know about that. They were like, "Hey, just come coach us. We'll give you $25,000." And I was just like, "Oh, perfect." So I told my parents, I was like, "Hey, this school wants me to transfer there and I'll get a scholarship. I'll just do that." And they're like, "Why don't you just stay at KU and finish your degree?" And I'm like, no, this is way better. They didn't know that I kind of burned that bridge prior to.
So your parents didn't know that you flunked out?
No, I just told them, "Hey, I'm going to transfer here. I'm getting a scholarship. Whoop-de-doo. This is cool."
Wow, yeah.
So they were like, "Okay,
oh my
sure."
God, dude.
So it was like in the nick of time, like the bomb's about to explode and defuse. And like, so I get it. So they gave me $25,000. Now Baker's private, so it was more expensive. I didn't get a full ride. I got about 75% of my tuition paid for, or 75% of tuition and living.
Still pretty good.
I was paying 100% at KU. I didn't have any scholarship at KU. Like I said, I was one of the worst students ever. So it was an improvement.
Yeah.
So I went to Baker to coach and play on the team, which was fun because once I got there, I was coaching them, but also it was like Michael Jordan playing against 10th graders. Like I got to get, like every game I was like 30-0, had like 30 kills, no deaths. I was really like, I would like teabagging their bodies and stuff. Like there's a clip. So also sometimes our games would be streamed on Twitch.
Yeah.
And we would be playing, there was one time we were playing this team. It was like, I forget which school it was, but their team, they broadcast all their games and they had commentators. They had color commentators, right?
Yeah.
And I was playing them and I was like stomping them and I kept emoting. So when in the game, you can play, but also you can like emote and like dance and like put up emotes of like, there's one that to call people gay, it's two dudes kissing. So you put up the emote of two dudes kissing to call them gay, essentially. I was like killing them and emoting on their body. And the comment, I watched back the broadcast and they're like, "Baker is being very disrespectful on the I got to hear the color commentators complain about me not using sportsmanship, which is funny because it's like I'm literally like it's like me like slam two-handed dunking on 9th grade girls. Like that's the level of how much I like. I'm so
funny
because even though I joined the team, they were like, "Okay, you guys have one good player, but the 4 rest of you are just as bad as before." So they put us in the same league.
Yeah.
So I'm still playing against the shitters I was coaching against, basically. But then now I get to be in there and be like crossing people up and fucking dunking on them.
Did you guys have a good record when you were on the team?
Oh yeah, we went to the playoffs. So I joined the team, right? And okay, so I coached for a year and a half. I only got to play for a semester. Yeah. And I dropped out. Multiple reasons. But so I joined for one semester, and the thing was we went to the playoffs. We never won because at the end of the day, it is a team game. You need 5 people contributing.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. It was fun because like I got to kill everybody, but it was also hard in the fact that like I can't fuck up at all because everything is riding on me. Even though it's a team game, I am like the only person really doing everything. It's a lot of
pressure for one video game player, dude.
Dude, it was so hard. I was sweating. I was like, God. So we went to the playoffs, but every year we choke in like the second round of the playoffs. We never do as well as we should have,
right?
With how good we are.
You guys aren't living up to expectations.
Yes, but here's the thing. Also, it's like one thing. I'm in game. Not only am I in game like calling out the strategies and like dominating the game, but also pre-game, I'm the one doing like the scouting reports. I'm drafting our team. I'm doing team I'm literally like Peyton Manning, like calling the plays and running them, like playing, like I'm doing fucking everything, right? Like this whole team's running on me, and it was so fun. It was so fun because we had like our top laner, like one of the guys on our team. He was a foreign student that just got there from Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time he's like talking, he's like, motherfucker, bitch, fuck you, fucking. He's like chain smoking in the. He's trying to smoke cigarettes in the campus building. I'm like, dude, Steve, you have to go outside. And he's like, what, bro? I can't fucking smoke. I'm like, and then he asked me. He was like obsessed with Latinas. This guy, Steve.
That's so funny.
He goes, hey, Curt, can you find me a nice Latina? And I'm like, and I go, yeah, sure. I was like, I know Latinas.
Please,
I was like, Steve, and also it's like, he's like, I come to America, I can't buy fucking cigarettes. They're $20 fucking. I can't. He was like complaining because in Serbia, like, he can buy. He's like, I'm addicted to cigarettes, but I can't buy any because I'm in the U.S.
Yeah.
But he's like, I want the Latina. Can you get me Latina? And I was like, I can get you Latina. He goes, no, she has to be like good woman though. And I was like, Steve, what's a good woman? He goes, well, if she doesn't listen, I fucking hit her. And I was like, no. I was like,
Jesus
I only had
Christ.
to teach our top laner what is and isn't okay in like in America because he's like literally like plucked from Serbia and dropped in Baldwin City, Kansas to play soccer. He was a soccer player.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So Baker, 6,000 students, 4,000. I mean, wait, is that right? Okay, I forget. I don't know. I forget how many students Baker has. It's something. Or
doesn't matter that much.
It's like 2,300.
Yeah.
Literally, what you need to know: 75% of the students are student athletes.
Yeah.
The school basically exists for athletics.
Yeah.
So most of the people on our team also played football, also played bowling, also played like they.
Right.
Everybody was there for another reason except esports. I was the only one there brought for the sole reason of being an esports player. That was the weirdest thing too. So I transferred there as a senior. So I'm in all these fourth year classes, and all of the classes I'm in, everybody knows each other because they've been going to school. It's a small school,
Right.
and they're all athletes. So I'm in the room with like volleyball players and football players and like basketball players. And like, oh, you're going to like the basketball party tonight? And I'm like, no, I'm here for years. I just got here. I don't know anybody. I'm also, and they're like, oh, what do you play? And I'm like, esports. Actually,
I play League of Legends.
I think I might have been the only person that went to that school that had a scholarship that was not academic, and it was an athletic scholarship, and it was for esports only, not another sport.
Yeah.
But we had people on the track and field. Like a lot of our team was made up of people that, or like one of our guys was in the band. Like he had a band scholarship or something. So like I was the only one that was there to be fucking running the show. And so we lost in the playoffs every time. And then so what happened was my credits transferred from KU, and and I had a year left on my degree. Yeah. I had to go there for 1 year. Yeah. I was playing esports. I was having fun with my friend. I got to go to school with my best friend. And play with him. It was cool. The problem is Baker just has like one fucking 25th of the faculty that KU has. Yeah. So my 1 year of classes, they didn't have enough faculty to teach them in 1 year. They're like, you're gonna have to come for 2 years to do 1 year's worth of classes because we don't have enough teachers to teach all of the classes that you can do in one thing. Because I went there for computer science. At Baker, they have. The dean of computer science teaches every single computer science class. There's one professor for computer science, every single class. There's one guy. So if he doesn't teach the class you need that semester, you're kind of fucked. You have to wait a whole like round. Yeah, so they didn't tell me that when they gave me the scholarship. So they got me there. They got me playing, and then they waited for like my first like advising. You know, you have to go into advising to like plan out your next semester. Right. So I went in there being like, okay, sweet, my last semester, and they're like, oh, hey, buddy, by the way, we can't teach all these classes this year, so you're gonna have to come back not only next semester but another year. And then that's when I told them to go fuck themselves. I was like, I'm dropping out and doing comedy. Like so I dropped out after my first semester because my advising, they were like, instead of just finishing this year, you're gonna have to do another year on top of that. And I was like, I can't. And at this point, I'm already in my 5th year of college at this point, so I would have had to go for 6 years to finish my degree. God damn. And I was already.
Call those doctors usually, dude.
Yeah, no, seriously. I would have gotten a bachelor's degree from Baker. Like I said, I was a terrible student.
Yeah.
I mean, all of this is my fault. But also, I was like, I can't like. At the end of the day,
I would have had to pay about like flunking out of KU to your parents. What? Did you ever tell your parents that you like were?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had a very emotional like. My parents are the best. I'm very lucky. I have the coolest parents. They support me in everything I do. But like, and my number one fear is disappointing them. Like, so that's why I never told them about anything. Any of my struggles, I've never told them about anything. Like, I really hated borrowing money. Mm-hmm. And there was a point at KU where I was like running out of money, and instead of asking them for money, I opened up a credit card and got into like $2,000 in credit card debt because I was like, that was better for me than telling them I needed money.
No, I get the feeling though. It's like asking your parents for help, like especially like. You know, you just don't like. Also, I was not a good look.
Also, I was a smart kid. I was like, I wouldn't say there was a lot of expectations on me, but I had high aspirations.
Yeah.
So when I got to college and was struggling, I was afraid to tell them about it.
Yeah.
So since
because you were a good student in like high school, probably.
Yeah, I was a good student in high school. Also, I'm going to school for engineering, so like, oh, he's gonna make a lot of money and stuff. You know, like
yeah.
Thing. And like I said, this is not. They did nothing wrong. My parents are literally the best, the most supportive. I mean, to this day, I dropped out of school after 5 years to do comedy and make no money. Like, they are, and they're like, they love me for it. They don't care anything. Like, they rule. But yeah, no, I was very afraid of them finding out
that you were failing.
So that is my saga of how I basically got a esports scholarship because my friend was already on a team that needed people and they couldn't find people, and I'd also been coaching them, and it's hard to recruit people for the game that I was playing because not a lot of young people play it. So I basically was like the perfect solution for a very minute problem, and they'd pay me handsomely for it.
Thanks for summing it all up.
Yeah,
dude.
you're welcome. Sorry for taking up the whole podcast with that, but
no, it's okay. I think it's interesting. I asked.
Also, once I get rolling, I'm a rambler. So once I get rolling, I like to.
You're good. This whole podcast is about rambling. I did want to bring up this story because this was sent in. This was sent in by a listener.
Okay. Shout out to listener.
Shout out Joe. Shout out Joe.
Oh, Joe's my best friend that was on the esports team.
Wow,
Joe
dude.
Compton.
Nope, not the same guy.
Okay, well, I'll tell him to listen to Jake.
But this story is pretty funny because this guy went into a Dunkin' Donuts and the toilet exploded. He went into the bathroom, the toilet exploded, shit all over him, like human fecal matter.
Jesus.
All over him. Like, what the way that it sounds is like it literally, the toilet exploded.
Yes.
Which is confusing to me on how that would happen because there's like water in there. Like, how did it like blow up like that? It must have been a pressure thing.
Yeah.
Shoot shit all over this guy in the Dunkin' Donuts bathroom, and then he comes out and he's like, hey, like he's covered in shit in the Dunkin' Donuts, and he's kind of like, hey, there's a problem with your bathroom. He has to waddle out
into a public Dunkin'
and the people working there were like, yeah, sir, we know there's a problem with the toilet in there. They were just like, literally, he filed a lawsuit, and in the lawsuit he's like, they
definitely knew about it.
All that they said to him was, we know that there's a problem with the toilet in there. And it's a man covered in like shit, and pieces of toilet are all over him. And I love that, dude. I love that for the people at Dunkin' Donuts. This is like the second Dunkin' Donuts story. The other one was these two guys pulled a gun. These two Dunkin' Donuts workers pulled a gun on a guy in the store.
Oh, like the workers pulled the gun.
Yeah, when he asked to speak to the manager. They pulled the gun on the guy.
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts rules. All their employees
America
rock.
runs on Dunkin', dude.
They fucking don't give a shit if a toilet explodes. This one was in Florida. Winter Park, it says. But it left him covered in human feces, urine, and debris. He walked out of the men's restroom seeking help from the worker and the store's manager, according to the lawsuit. An employee told him that they were aware of the problem with the toilet since there had been previous incidents, the lawsuit says, without diving into further details about the explosion. So basically, they see this guy and they're like, oh, yeah, this has happened before.
The guy walks out, covers it, they're like, not this again. Like,
we actually had just glued the toilet back together before this happened to you, dude. It's crazy.
Oh, that's nuts.
Yeah. I don't know. What would you do if you were covered in shit? Do you think that would embarrass your parents?
Do
you think they'd go, our little boy?
I think I'd find a way to hang myself in that bathroom before I was able to walk it. Like, the public embarrassment from, like, being... Like, if I'm a very clean person. If I even have like slightly BO, I'm like, I need to go home and be insulted for a week. Like, So to think about like in a public place covered in
piss
shit
and shit, Dunkin' Donuts coffee shits, dude, all
God,
over you, bro.
Like, also, that would also mean that I'm covered in my own throw up because there's no way that I'm keeping it all in. If I'm like smelling like I would be throwing up.
I can't believe that guy didn't puke. He must have.
Oh my,
right?
Yeah, he had to have.
That's so gross. You're covered in your own puke and a bunch of other people's shit.
Yeah. And he comes out and he's like, they're like, is there something? He's like, yeah, can I get an iced mocha number?
No, dude, it's crazy. The similar thing actually happened to me once, but I actually got kicked out of the Dunkin' Donuts because they walked in on me jerking off. After it happened.
That's the debris. That's what they said.
Yeah.
They said shit, urine, and debris.
Well, no, it exploded all over me, and then I just couldn't help myself. I had to jerk off right then because I was covered in so much piss and shit. Then somebody came in the bathroom and was like, "Oh my god!"
They found you in the bathroom with like a bag of like the unfilled jelly donuts. You're just like putting your dick in the hole. You're like, I'm gonna fill them myself. I want to put my own jam in these. They're like, sir?
Yeah,
like,
I'm a
what?
sick fuck. I like
Put this on the menu. It's my special.
Yeah, we call this the Jake-filled donut.
Plan J.
Yeah. Well, dude, we made it to the end of the podcast.
Holy shit, we did.
Yeah,
it.
I know.
Yeah, I just had to.
You went
talk
off of that, dude. We've learned everything there is to know about your esports journey.
I get so anxious talking about it because I'm like, I know I'm gonna get into a remote and just like
Yeah,
go
dude.
off. Like
you really fucking like. That was pretty autistic.
I had a real. That's the thing. It's even funnier now because I'm not gonna be able to listen to this back.
Dude,
I'm just gonna think about this the whole drive home. Like, man, you just talked about esports the entire.
You are on the spectrum. If one thing is clear, Jakeoff Nation knows Curtis on the spectrum.
Can I tell you one thing that relates to the first story before we go?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I also bowl a lot, and I'm in a bowling league. Okay.
Okay, and how did you get in this bowling league, dude?
my dad bowled.
Nepotism again.
My dad taught me how to bowl, and then we bowled
Yeah.
together. And he's in a league for years, right?
Yeah.
So I'm actually not in this league. My dad got knee surgery. I'm subbing in for him.
Yeah.
So I fill in and bowl on his team in place of my dad. And they all know I bowled with them for years, so they all know who I am.
They're like, Curtis!
And they, exactly. And they know
last time I saw you, your dick was this big.
And
You've gotten this much bigger.
It's actually crazy accurate. But it's honestly really weird because it's me just sitting at a table with six like 55-year-ish men who just like have just found out what like Facebook Reels are. Yeah. And like showing me memes from like 2008. Yeah. And being like, yo, this is you guys see this video? And
Curtis,
it's like from like 7 months ago.
Look at this singing gummy bear.
No, like literally like actually it's literally 55-year-old men like finding out like one of them is like he's really big into like a Bucky's Facebook group. He's like literally like the one joy he has left in his life is if Bucky's comes to Kansas. He's like, dude, I've been trying to get Bucky's to come to put a location.
Like
in
the fast food place?
Yes. Like the gas station in
funny,
Texas.
dude.
He was like, dude, honestly, like every time I drive down south, I love stopping in Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma is the northernmost Bucky's. I love going to Oklahoma because they have Bucky's. And he's in a Facebook group like full grown adults
memes.
Being like, it's a group full of adults being like, man, I wish KC had a Bucky's. Bring Bucky's to KC. It's a ton of people begging in a group chat for Bucky's to come to KC.
That's so funny.
And so they all knew I do comedy. So I'll see them every couple months. And they'll be like,
Curtis,
hey, man,
would you do a benefit for our group? Curtis, would you help us raise money to bring Bucky's to Kansas City?
Dude, it's crazy because Naylor Special was shot in a Bucky's. We'll cut that.
Yeah, we'll cut that.
I'm sorry. But anyway, so...
Dude, no, I'll just bleep out the name, but the word special. It'll be very clear who you're talking about. No, anyways, dude.
So they know I do comedy, and like I can tell they're like interested in very nice people. But they're also like they don't know how serious it is. Like they're like, oh, that's cool. You do your thing. You get up on stage. You tell your little jokes.
They're like, what are you gonna do with your life, though?
Dude, I told them that I went on tour. Steven Taylor took me to Wichita and Springfield a couple weeks ago, and I told them about it. I was like, do you guys know Steven Taylor? He got because they're gonna know all about this news story. Like they probably came across their Facebook feed. Like, teacher gets fired. So I tell them that I like do shows with this guy. And they're like, no way, the teacher guy? They got like their respect for me went through the roof that they found out that I was doing shows with the guy that got fired for.
Do you think he can help us bring Bucky's to Kansas City?
Also, like the video that Steven got fired for basically says he like crop dusts his students. That's exactly their type of humor. Like, they're like, oh yeah, brother, I bet he does. I want my kids to get farted on.
Yes, just don't let them read.
I mean, 100%. Like that's exactly what
Fart
it is.
in my kid's mouth, but don't let them eyes fall upon the words in a book.
Like I said, they're great people. They're very nice, but
No,
it is
of
like
course.
old, like rotten brain. Like they don't know what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it was so funny that like that. My one way of like getting respect from them is telling them that I do shows with the canceled teacher.
Yeah.
They're like, no way, you know him? I'm like, yeah, I'm friends. I can text him right. So Steven, you've got
That's
more
so
fans
funny.
than you know.
Well, dude, if people want to find you from this, where can they look you up?
Everything's on my Instagram at Curtis Braxdale. I've got a link tree in there.
Check out Riff City.
Riff City is our podcast. Me and Connor Don upload every week. It's fun. It gets a little crazy in there, so be prepared. And then Riffs After Dark. It's our first show.
Yeah,
Me and
January
Connor-
27th.
January 27th, 9 p.m., Barrel of the Bottoms. It's me and Connor. We're hosting a comedy showcase. Our first show is January 27th. Jake is on it, one of the future performers. It's going to be sick.
Yep.
It's
going to be tight.
I have very high standards for the show I want to produce. I wanted to make it. Me and Connor have wanted to do a show for a long time.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time.
Like a year at this point, and finally, like everything worked out to where we want it exactly how we're gonna get it. So January 27th, 9 p.m., Barrel of the Bottoms.
Hell yeah. And as always, you can follow this podcast at jaken.off.podcast. And you can send anything at all to jaken.off.podcast@gmail.com. I'll look at it at least one time. Whatever you send there. I'll look at it once. And, who knows? Maybe you'll send me something that we'll use on the show. Thank you so much, Joe, by the way, for sending that story in.
Shout out, Joe.
Other than that, that's the end of the episode. I love you.
Thanks for having me.
I love you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.